This is the poorly made RWBY Iceberg. There really is no reason why I made this, but I just wanted to make a video. So this is what I got. Also, just a fair warning, I stutter a lot in this video, so there may be a lot of cuts in it. And like right now, yeah, you can see I'm not very comfortable talking like for making YouTube videos, because all the videos I've made, I've never had to talk in them. It's always been memes. It's never been like a scripted video. This is like the first one, dude. This is game changing. But yeah, I hope you enjoy either way.
Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. You may have come across some of my stolen persona memes that I've made in the past, but right now I'm trying to make more original content, so why not start safe with an iceberg? This iceberg was made by the Fairly Decent Snug in late 2020, so most of the information should be up to date. But other than that, yeah, let's just get into this. Season 1 had black silhouettes that were supposed to represent background characters. This was changed in Volume 2 to actual models, although most of them are repeated. RWBY Chibi also references this topic as well.
Super weird.
Torchwick and Neo came from Brunswick Farm is a popular fan theory. In the episode of The Coming Storm, Team RWBY and Juniper along with Maria and Qrow make their way to Atlas, and because of the harsh weather, decide to rest up at an abandoned village called Brunswick Farm. Brunswick Farm sounds similar to Torchwick's name, so you can see how people came up with this theory. In one of the houses, a photo can be seen of the people that live there. The boy in the photo has the same hair color as Torchwick, and the girl, who resembles Neo, is seen holding a doll and may be the reason why she never speaks in the series. Some people have suggested that Neo and Torchwick escaped the farm once the apathy took over and began to steal out of necessity, which led to their life of crime. Qrow as RWBY's dad is pretty self-explanatory. They both use transforming sights, both have similar outfits with similar colors, and she also looks up to Qrow as a role model.
Some crazy guy just started attacking my sister. Oh no! To do such a bad, it's my uncle! What? Take her fight, Uncle Qrow!
I couldn't really find anything with the Season 2 being related to the fall of Beacon, so I'm going to attempt to explain it to the best of my knowledge. So near the end of Volume 2, Dr. Oobleck and Team RWBY attempt to stop a train loaded with androids and mechs. The train crashed into the city of El, which caused distress and also attracted many hordes of Grimmen to invade the city. The scene immediately following after shows our fallen heroes and disoriented with sirens being heard in the background. The whole situation is very dramatic, and even I thought this would be the fall of Beacon on my first viewing, but this wouldn't happen until Volume 3. Emerald's comment during this admission also confirms that she herself wasn't aware of the plan.
You don't think?
Sure looks like it.
That's still days away.
So yeah, the fall of Beacon being at the end of Volume 2 would make sense. Every character being based off of fairy tales is a well-known fact in the RWBY community. RWBY is based off of Little Red Riding Hood, and Waishni is based off Snow White. The inspiration of fairy tales is a core theme in RWBY and can be seen in almost every character. Salem is millions of years old. Yeah, she is. Heyo is an animation released in 2007 by Monty that features Samus and Master Chief. Monty was eventually hired by Midway Games as a combat designer. Salem's goes to kill herself is another well-known fact in the community that was revealed in The Lost Fable. In this chapter, Salem's past is revealed, where Ozma frees Salem from a tower and they fall in love. Eventually, Ozma falls ill and dies. Salem goes to the gods to revive him but is rejected, which causes her to lash out at them. They curse Salem with immortality and leave Remnant. Eventually, she tries to end her life by jumping into the pool of Grimm but transforms into the Salem we know now. Anyways, her goal in the current series is to bring the relics together, which would in turn bring the gods back to destroy Relic, and thus breaking her curse and allowing her to die. This is a LOL XD moment said by Yang at RTX Australia 2016.
Just a quick question about your uncle's flask. What is in it, and have you ever tried taking it from him?
Pure gasoline.
That makes sense, actually.
Qrow killed Summer Rose is another popular theory that's actually pretty interesting. Eruption Fang made an excellent video on this topic, but I'm going to summarize it real quick here. Many people have come to the conclusion that Summer had gone on a mission with Qrow, and because of his semblance, which is bad luck, caused the death of Summer Rose. This would explain why Qrow is an alcoholic. He also carries around a picture of Team Stark everywhere he goes, and on the photo you can see there are tear stains. Furthermore, This is also the reason that Qrow takes such good care of RWBY, because he feels that he owes it to Summer to take care of her daughter. Again, please check out Eruption Fang's video if you want a more detailed look in this theory. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is a crossover fighting game from 2018 that features RWBY characters. The base game featured only 2 RWBY characters, which were Ruby and Weiss. Yang and Blake were both planned to be in the game, but as paid DLC. Fans were furious, of course, that half of Team RWBY was stuck behind a paywall, but eventually both were added into the game as free DLC. Glinda is the crown relic is certainly an interesting theory. 4 relics exist in the world of Remnant: the Lamp of Knowledge, the Staff of Creation, Sword of Destruction, and the Crown of Choice. As in Volume 8, the Crown of Choice has not made an official appearance, even though it's located in Beacon Academy. So the theory is that Glinda is the crown relic because he acts as the right-hand man to Osmond, but he also seemed to have a lot of trust in her. A lot of people seem to conclude that he gave Glinda magic to keep the spirit of the relic of choice manifested in her. Glinda was even able to summon a storm in episode 1, which is an ability that only maidens have displayed. Phoenix Knight made a whole video on this entry if you're interested. Dead Fantasy is a series of fan-made CG action movies created by Monty that features characters from the Dead or Alive series. There are a total of 6 movies in the series, and Monty confirmed episodes 7 through 9 before his death in 2015. According to Shane's letter, Team Juniper was supposed to fight Raven in Volume 3. For those that don't know, Shane Newville was a former animator for RWBY that released a 36-page document that detailed his personal account while working on RWBY. I couldn't find a reason why the fight wasn't used in Volume 3, or if the letter itself is reliable. Nevertheless, someone by the name of Lebowski Arts remade the fight from start to finish. Go check it out, it's pretty cool. So from what I could find online, Adam vs Yang had footage that was worked on by Monty and Shane back in Volume 3. The footage itself is extremely hard to find, and it shows Yang and Adam exchanging blows instead of just, The decision to have Yang's arm cut off was probably made to show the power difference between Adam and Yang and to see her progress as a fighter. Yet another entry taken from Shane's letter. In the letter, Shane claims that Monty wanted John to kill Pyrrha in Volume 3. He said this would trigger a major character growth moment in John. But what's most interesting to note is that John is put into the same hypothetical situation in Volume 8, but instead with Penny. RWBY wanted John to kill someone else close to him, but ended up butchering it by having the person John kills be Penny, when they never really had that kind of relationship and they barely had any interactions. Adele aka did a video on this exact topic as well. Casey Lee Williams is the main vocalist in the RWBY soundtrack and was cast to voice Neapolitan in the 2.0 update to BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle as DLC. In reality, it's really just in-game grunts with no dialogue. The Juniper death theory is one of the most interesting theories I've researched for this video. Going back to the idea of characters in RWBY being based off of fantasy characters and folklore, all of Team Juniper is based off of legends in mythology. The interesting thing is that all of these mythological heroes died. As we know, Achilles is shot in the heel and dies as a result, and at the end of Volume 3, Pyrrha was also shot in the heel by Cinder's arrow, which led to her death. So according to this theory, since Pyrrha died, this would mean that the rest of Team Juniper will die as well. In Nora's case, Thor dies of poison, so she would most likely die in a fight with Tyrion. And while Mulan does eventually commit suicide, I doubt that Ren would do such a thing unless something happened to Nora. John is the most interesting case, however, because it would make the most sense. Joan of Arc is burned alive at the stake after being charged of heresy. Now who is a character who uses fire in combat who also killed the person that John loved? That's right, Cinder. It makes perfect sense. John would avenge Pyrrha and fight Cinder. She would also use her Fall Maiden powers to burn John alive. In Dance Dance Infiltration, Beacon's Wi-Fi password is revealed.
Hey man, do you know the Wi-Fi password? It's Beacon, but replace the E with a 3 and add a pound symbol to the end.
This is also the chapter where the infamous Cinder rooftop run is seen. Yang vs Tifa was a video uploaded by Screwtech as part of their popular Death Battle series. I'm not really sure what the entry means by canon. Like, did the fight itself actually happen in the RWBY lore, or can Yang really beat Tifa? The White Fang is an organization made up of Faunus whose goal was to improve civil rights for Faunus kind through peaceful means before becoming corrupted and resorting to violence. With this violence, many people in Remnant begin to see them as a cult and terrorist group. Red vs. Blue is a comedy web series created by Bernie Burns and produced by Rooster Teeth. In Season 15, Episode 1, a character named Carlos Trapka mentions that his kids like watching a show about monster fighting teenagers, which is a nod to RWBY. RWBY Rex is an inside joke of Monty's and has made multiple appearances throughout the series as an Easter egg. I have no idea why this entry is so low on the list when it's one of the most well-known facts in the RWBY community. Tyrion having poor eyesight is basically confirmed since he shares his traits with a scorpion, which have poor eyesight. In Qrow vs Tyrion's fight, Tyrion can be seen having trouble knowing where Qrow is, he never directly looks at Qrow and instead relies on sound cues to fight. But yeah, this one seems to be true. So the closest thing I could find to Salem wanting to be immortal is a page on Amino. On the page, they state that Salem's goal may be to summon the gods to either take revenge for not reviving Ozma or to take their power. RWBY being Summer Rose is such a weird theory, but also so fascinating at the same time. So the theory states that RWBY Rose is a clone created for the purpose of replicating Summer's silver eyes. The one who came up with the plan was Osprey, who needed the silver eyes to beat Salem. Another interesting tidbit is that RWBY and Summer share the same symbol, and the only other characters in the show that share this trait are Raven and Qrow, who are twins. This theory would also explain why Osprey allowed RWBY to join Beacon Academy so easily, and why he made RWBY the leader of her team. He knew that RWBY was Summer's clone, so he bent the rules for her to develop as a huntress. In the world of Remnant, the concept of religion is present and has existed for hundreds of years. Both monotheistic and polytheistic faiths can be observed in the world of Remnant. There are a couple of examples I can think of off the top of my head that may indicate that Christianity is present in RWBY. Take Qrow's slanted cross for example. Why does Qrow have this? The concept of the biblical cross exists, and this would mean that Jesus Christ at some point must have existed to be crucified on the cross. The explanation online though is that the slanted cross represents a burden he carries because of his semblance. There's also a whole RWBY Chibi episode that's based off of the whole concept of Christmas, but they never really specify what holiday they're celebrating, and instead they just call it
nondescript winter holiday! The time of year when everybody is nice and loving and everyone cares about one another, but no one cares about me!
All in all, there seems to be religious implications in RWBY, but it seems that they don't want to deal with this issue anytime soon. I'm not going to go over this one out of respect for him because the allegation itself is pretty ridiculous, but if you're interested, there are threads online that you can read regarding this topic.